Tonight, Bob Mueller is just out with documents about Michael Cohen's case. Information about Paul Manafort could be next. Former federal prosecutor joins us to explain it all. Plus, next month, Democrats will take control of the House of Representatives. And tonight, I speak with the woman who's on tap to head up the powerful House Appropriations Committee. Congresswoman Nita Lowey joins us. And later, we check in on the latest chaos at the White House, more personnel changes, another former cabinet official saying Trump is in over his head, and a lot more. Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman, in tonight for Richard French on what has been a big news Friday related to the Russia probe. Let's start with Michael Cohen, President Trump's former lawyer, who's been talking to the Mueller team for weeks. In fact, Cohen has spent 70 hours with prosecutors. U.S. attorneys say Cohen deserves, quote, substantial prison time. That can mean up to 5 years in federal prison. A judge will hand down that sentence on Wednesday. Here's a key part of the Mueller charging document. There were two charging documents in this case. This is from Mueller. Quote, Cohen provided the SCO, that's the special counsel's unit, with useful information concerning certain discrete Russia-related matters core to its investigation that he obtained by virtue of his regular contact with company executives during the campaign. Third, Cohen provided relevant and useful information concerning his contacts with persons connected to the White House during the 2017-2018 time period. Here's another part of a different charging document, this one from the Southern District's filing against Cohen. It says in particular, and as Cohen himself has now admitted, with respect to both payments, he acted in coordination with and at the direction of individual one. Now, these are the cases where Cohen helped to pay off two adult stars who were accused or who said that they had affairs with Donald Trump. Neither woman then spoke to the press prior to the election. Also, another court filing says that Cohen has gone to significant lengths to help investigators figure out whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. That involves providing information about attempts by Russian nationals to contact the Trump campaign. One more headline, CNN reporting that Mueller's investigators questioned Chief of Staff John Kelly as part of its obstruction of justice probe. That report saying Kelly answered questions only after White House lawyers originally objected to Mueller's requests to question Kelly. Lots to talk about now, and for this we're going to turn to former federal prosecutor Roland Riopel, who joins us live from New York. Good evening, Roland.
Good evening, Andrew. Good to be here.
So what's your biggest takeaway from the two sets of Cohen documents we got today?
Well, I think it's a real testament to the Southern District's old nickname, the Sovereign District of New York. They are clearly operating independent of Mr. Mueller and on their own wavelength. They are asking that Michael Cohen get a substantial jail sentence because he's tried to play both ends off against the middle. He refused to respond to questioning by the Southern District about other criminal activity he was involved in, stuff they hadn't uncovered themselves, and decided he would go try to cooperate with Mueller in the hopes that that would get him a non-jail sentence in both cases. I don't think that's going to happen now. He's going to serve a significant amount of time on the case that the Southern District brought.
Should we read anything into the two different charges in the two different locations and the indication from the Southern District that Cohen wasn't that cooperative with them, was much more so with Mueller? Is there anything to read into that, or is it just that Cohen's financial crimes were something of the cudgel that Mueller used to get him to play ball?
I think if you compare the two documents, what happened here is there are more crimes out there of some kind that Cohen doesn't want to discuss with anybody. He discussed only a very discreet, band of crimes with Mueller, and that was enough to get Mueller to ask for a non-jail sentence on those crimes. But he refused to discuss his criminal background in its entirety with the Southern District of New York. And given the serious nature of the crimes they've charged him with, they are not seeking a non-jail sentence. In fact, they're looking for a sentence of 3.5 to 4 years.
From Mueller's charging document, I read the quote to you earlier about Cohen providing the special counsel with information concerning Russia-related matters, and then he was also providing relevant information with people connected to the White House during 2017-2018. That's when Trump is in office. Add to that the fact that Mueller's filing indicates that Russia reached out to Trump as early as 2015. That sounds a lot like a collusion case that's being built, Roland.
Oh, it sure does. It sounds like Cohen provided Mueller a lot of very significant information on the conspiracy with Russia type charge that Mueller is considering. No question, Cohen has been incredibly useful to the Mueller investigation.
And in the Southern District of New York's filing, the campaign finance violation, the payouts to Stormy Daniels and the other woman, they say it was done at the direction of individual one. That's Trump. Does this mean, I mean, how much jeopardy does this put Trump in on a campaign finance violation?
It puts him in significant jeopardy on the campaign finance violation. He's right in the middle of it. He's directing it. He's guilty of it if it's a violation of the law, period.
Based on what we know right now, is Michael Cohen the single biggest legal threat to Donald Trump, in your opinion?
Yes, but Andrew, I want to emphasize that's based only on what we know now. Keep in mind how close Robert Mueller has played the cards he holds to his vest. He has revealed only what he absolutely has to at each step in the process. And while Michael Cohen's information appears to be very damaging to Trump, both with Mr. Mueller and with the Southern District of New York, there's a ton more evidence out there that we don't know what it is. We don't know what Mueller holds. So this may just be the tip of the iceberg.
Quickly, I want to jump over to the John Kelly news that he was interviewed by the Mueller team on obstruction and that the White House was objecting to those questions, part of the delay. Is it your take that the White House was claiming privilege with Kelly? You know, again, we got rumors today about his resignation, but we've heard those rumors for a while. Is it possible the White House has just been keeping John Kelly around just to exert that privilege and stop him from talking?
I think it's entirely possible. That's why they kept him around. Remember, they have asserted a very broad executive privilege, far broader than the law has typically allowed, over and over again when Congress was questioning cabinet members and the like. So I'm sure they tried to assert executive privilege with respect to conversations Trump had with Kelly, and it seems likely that those conversations have not been able to be suppressed by Trump. And now that there's no useful purpose in keeping Kelly around, Kelly will be cut off.
And finally, that they're talking, that Mueller's talking to Kelly about obstruction. Kelly's the guy who knows everything that Trump does and when he does it as the chief of staff, or at least he should. I mean, that's got to be a huge alarm going off in the White House tonight that there's an obstruction case, a legitimate one against the President of the United States.
I would think this is very, very worrisome to the White House. As you note, Mr. Kelly is tasked with knowing Trump's every move and, in fact, orchestrating it. So if Trump was meeting with somebody he shouldn't have, if he said something he shouldn't have in Kelly's presence, that's now been reported to Mr. Mueller, and that's not good for Mr. Trump.
And that's only part of what we asked you to join us tonight to talk about, Roland. So do me a favor, stick around because we've got more to get to in just a second. When we come back from this break, we're going to look at James Comey's trip to Capitol Hill today and also the obstruction of justice probe that was opened up even before Bob Mueller was appointed special counsel.